Check this out. I'm assuming this is just normal wear and tear for an RV. Most of the ones I've seen online and on Craigslist and whatnot all have issues in this whole area right here. So probably going to beef it up and add a couple of 2x3s and 2x4s in here. And I'm actually going to encapsulate this area so this hole right here will be non-existent. Let's do it. Alright, so I was able to remove all of that rotted out structure, and I found that I have a delaminated wall. So let me show you what good looks like. This wall is secured to this panel right here. It is not moving at all. This wall, on the other hand, basically the glue from this foam board has separated from this panel right here. So I'm going to try to get some adhesive behind this panel and fill it through these holes right here. So a little bit of this hopefully should take care of that wiggle room in the wall. Whole tube of liquid nail. And to ensure that's not gonna go anywhere, hopefully this works. Alright, we're back. So I got some framing set up right here. And I actually had an idea to put some of this rafter tape, and in the event water were to wick in through those screws, I was hoping this would keep it from rotting the wood out. Next, we're going to be cutting the support from here to here. I gotta notch this out, so setting the depth of the blade right now. Nice! So I threw in a couple of pocket holes right here and also right here. So it's going to have force pulling down on the board, and then from the outside there's going to be screws going into the board. Alright, we got the outside and interior all screwed into place. Now let's see if this will hold. Yes! That wall did not move an inch. So this board's way too big for me to put on my table saw. We're gonna end up ripping this board down to proper size so we can fit it on the floor or the decking of the loft. Let's try to get this thing fitted in. I'm not too sure if it's gonna be too large for the space. I might have to cut it in half, but let's just try it out. Way too big to fit in the space. I'm gonna have to cut it in half. So I've actually had this happen once or twice before where the board is just far too big for the space. It's really hard to maneuver it into position as one piece. So I'm gonna rip it in half or in thirds or something like that and then just piece it in one board at a time. What I am currently using for the subfloor or the decking for the loft space would be a 1/2 inch piece of plywood. Not really sure on the species, but it's a 1/2 inch. So let's get ripping. And again, this board is just far too big for my table saw to rip safely and accurately, so doing it this way, I feel works a lot better. This straight edge It's just a piece of angle iron I had left over from an old bed frame that was found in my attic when I first moved in. All right, a little sloppy, but it worked. Much easier. So I finally got this panel into place. Super happy with how it came out. The loft is decked out currently with 2x3s and 2x4s. And this panel right here is a 1/2 inch thick compared to the 1/8 piece of plywood that they did use originally. So way more sound. Can definitely house an adult up here no problem and not have to worry about falling through the cab. So super pumped. I gotta get this area cut and trimmed out and also get going on some more insulation. All this stuff's coming out. Let's do it. What you're seeing right there is the old fiberglass insulation that I'm not going to use because it's just not efficient, and quite frankly it's not really good for your health in an enclosed vehicle. There's some of it right there. I went forward off camera and I started inputting all this polyiso foam board with Reflectix right here. Very, very cool product, really easy to work with. Utility knife, cut it, score it, goes in just fine. But I've used it in a lot of locations in this vehicle and I'm actually out. So I'm piecing together what I currently have left. Honestly, not the prettiest, but gives me that extra layer of insulation, so I'm just gonna go with it. I currently have 2 inches of insulation in the loft, 2 inches of insulation in this wall cavity right here. I'm gonna tape all that up next. This is Reflectix tape. Done. As you can see, it's really, really hot in here. I'm gonna install an air conditioner. This is unbearable.